Hey, yeah, what's up? Oh, tonight? You want to hang out tonight? Yeah, yeah, I can do that. Where do you want to meet up? Okay, okay, just let me get inside and grab a bag and then I'll meet you there. Okay, all right, bye.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Why Will Friends English, and for those of you who are new subscribers, thank you so much for joining our channel, and we hope that these videos are genuinely helpful for you.
Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about phrasal verbs. We have done quite a few videos like this, and there's good reason. Phrasal verbs are some of the most difficult vocabulary to learn because they have a verb and a preposition. These units combined make a totally different meaning than the meanings of the two parts individually.
Right. So that base verb will not capture the meaning of the phrasal meaning, and that preposition alone will not cover the meaning. So you need to have both the verb and the preposition together in order to have that meaning. Now, phrasal verbs are unique in that the object is able to split them up most of the time, not all of the time. So you can drop off the kids at school, or you can drop the kids off at school.
Right.
So very important to be able to recognize that phrasal verbs are very important because of their flexibility and the meaning that they convey, but they're also really hard to learn because of that. So that is why Josh and I have this whole series on our channel where we have phrasal verb videos based on a certain topic, and all the phrasals that you can use to describe items within that topic. And then we follow up later in that week with a conversation where we are exercising some of those phrasal verbs in a natural conversation.
So today we're going to talk about English phrasal verbs to describe hanging out.
And how to use them correctly. So let's kick it off.
So the first section of phrasal verbs that we're going to talk about are phrasal verbs that you would use to talk about your friend that you are going to hang out with. And that's the first one, is to hang out.
Yes, or hang out with.
Or hang out with.
Either one. So this term is really laid back. It's really casual, laid back, informal. You hang out with your friends, and it has this idea that there's no real plan. So I would say, if I'm talking about this weekend, I might say, yeah, we're going to go out to watch a movie, we're going to take the kids to the splash pad, and then we're going to eat out, and then we're going to hang out. Which hang out, just in that instance, just really means there's going to be a time that's just super chill, super laid back. We're not going to do a whole lot. So anything can happen really in a conversation. If somebody just is inspired and wants to bring out a board game, then we're going to play a board game. It's just very chill.
It's also very broad. This is easily one of the favorite terms that Americans use to describe just being with your friend. You would say, hey, let's hang out.
Yeah. And you're not really going to ever use this formally. Like, you don't have a business meeting that ends up hanging out, really. So that would be a little odd. Hanging out can also be a noun. So like Google Hangouts has really tapped into this. Number 2 is to hang around.
So it also has hang. It also kind of means the same as hang out, but there's a connotation with hang around that it's almost a negative, where you say, do you hang around those people? Or I don't want you hanging around those people.
Yeah, and it's because it's a general statement. It's typically used in general statements, which means you're using the present tense, and it applies as a general statement to anybody. So I say, hey, I don't want you hanging around those people. It really means it's like, I don't ever want you to hang out around them. It doesn't mean I don't want you hanging around them today. It just means like, at any given time.
Yeah.
So be careful to listen for whether there's a time word associated with this one, because that will show you if somebody is talking to you about hanging around the office or hanging around a place. That would be the good use of it. Hanging around their friends, hanging around whatever. They might be using this in a positive, or they might be using it in a certain day or a certain time, or they might be making a general statement, or they could be using a negative. So positive, negative, or time. You need to listen for those things when you hear hang around.
So the next one is meet up, and kind of like hang out, this is also has become a noun, but meet up just means that you and another person are trying to arrive at the same point. So normally this has a place and a time, and you have to talk about it. Say, let's meet at that place. Let's meet at the park at 2:00. That's a meet up.
It really connotates that each person is leaving from somewhere else to meet up at this point. It's not going to be you stay in one place and your friend meets up with you where you're at. That's not really how we use it. This can be used as an adjective or a noun as well. So it could be a meetup spot, a meetup place, but you also have the meetup. The next one is to get together or to get together with. Now, these two are pretty interchangeable, I would say. With is just going to help you know whether you're going to attach whoever you're getting together with. But this one has a lot of meanings.
Right. So the first one is just be together with someone else, to hang out.
And usually this is going to necessitate that it's with your family or close friends. You don't really get together with your acquaintances or your coworkers.
Yeah.
Not really.
But the other meaning of get together that has come to develop in America especially is it can mean dating. It can mean you're in a romantic relationship with somebody. It's kind of an older way to say it, but to say they got together means that they are now dating. They're a boyfriend and girlfriend.
Or something deeper.
Or something else.
So there is a noun form for this one. You could have a get together, and usually this kind of has the idea of a family reunion, or you have this special time that everybody is coming together, taking time off of work or whatever to get together for the day. So this might be for a celebration. It could be for our wedding. Our wedding was a get together, really. So a get together can be just any time that lots of people that really love each other come together and hang out.
The next one is catch up or to catch up with. This is something you might use if you haven't seen your friend for a long time and you don't know what they've been up to. Maybe you just connected with each other on social media and you say, hey, let's go get some coffee. Let's catch up.
I wouldn't say as your wife, though, because I know you so well. I wouldn't say, hey, we just caught up, because then whoever's listening is going to be like, were you guys separated? Like, what happened?
Yeah. The assumption is there's some parting of time that you haven't seen each other.
And that would be the broader meaning. I guess I could say I could catch up with you at the end of the day. Like if we have just had an insanely busy day where there's no time for us to talk and hang out with one another or speak to one another really about what's going on, I might say, okay, at the end of the day, we need to catch up. That would be fine. But you're not going to use this in a noun form. There's no noun form for catch up. Yeah, no, that's sauce.
Another thing I would say for this phrasal verb is that you can also say in a more physical sense to catch up to another person, like if you're in a race.
That's
so
true.
like if a person is running and you're running faster, to meet them is to catch up to that person.
Right. And that's very much what we mean when we're saying to catch up memories or to catch up our lives. We're trying to say that we're in two different places and we're trying to like catch up to one another. We'd see where each other are at. The next group is about doing things together. So this is going to be a motley collection that we've put in here. But basically, these are just phrasals you would use to describe different ways to hang out together. The first one is to go out or go out for.
So like one example is just to say, let's go out for coffee. And that for is going to give some more information. Go out for coffee, go out for a movie, go out for whatever, pizza. You're going to name it so that you can both be on the same page.
Right. But it requires that you physically leave. If I say I'm going to go out for something, it means I am leaving my house. I am leaving my own stuff. Now, I can drive my car to go out somewhere, but the idea is that I'm physically leaving wherever I live. This one also has no noun form. But the next one is to eat out.
Yeah, so this is kind of similar to a couple of phrasals that we talked about in another video that we did previously, order in and take out. But the idea is you go out of your house, again, out of your car even, and you sit in the restaurant and you eat out.
Wait. So you go out to go in.
Yes, you go out to dine in. You eat out to dine in.
Right. So you can't order food. You can't go through a drive-thru. This one is you physically leave you and yours. You physically leave your house, your car to go eat somewhere else. If I owned the restaurant, I would not say that I'm eating out when I technically attend it as a customer and eat in my own restaurant because it's my restaurant. It doesn't count as eating out.
Right.
So eating out means something that you are not going to have normally at all, and you have to physically leave whatever is yours in order to go get it.
The next one that also talks about eating, next two actually, is snack on and pig out. So snack on means that you are just maybe eating some snacks like nuts or chips, and you're just sitting around a coffee table talking about stuff.
Grazing.
It's nice, it's calm. Pigging out on something is totally different, where maybe there's hardly any talking whatsoever because your mouth is so full of food. And you definitely don't want this to be the description of your very first date. How was the date? Oh, she was pigging out on food. It's not a good thing. It's not a snacking on kind of meaning. It's a... Ugh.
It means food was like the sole attention of that person. So we say this because it's funny to us, but pigging out is not a good thing to describe a single person. Like, you don't want to describe a person, one person. I don't want to describe Josh as someone who pigs out. But if we talk about at the get-together, everyone was pigging out on all the great food at the potluck.
It's almost a good thing.
It's almost a good thing. It means everybody enjoys the food and ate till they were full and satisfied and had good fellowship at the same time. So you definitely want to have more of this. Pigging out's good in groups. It's not good if it's just one person. So don't describe someone as picking out.
The next one is play through. So this is a specific one to games or to even athletics of sports, to say, I'm going to play through a course of golf, or I'm going to play through that new game, or I'm going to play through a series, something like that, a tournament. You play through with your friends.
Very communal in this way.
Right. You play with your friends through a series of activities, like golf has 18 holes.
But if you're talking about watching TV or movies, then this is going to be watch through or to binge. You can watch through a series, you can watch through a set of new music videos, you can watch through all kinds of things with your friends. But the idea is that you're watching through them in an order.
The last activity phrasal verb to describe what you could do when you're hanging out in this video is sleep over. So if I say, hey, what are we going to do this weekend? Well, how about we sleep over at Michael's house? So the idea is you go from your house and you sleep at his house. But this one's really funny because it's also turned into a noun.
Yeah, a sleepover is something typically for kids to do.
Yeah.
And they sleep over at their cousin's house or they sleep over at a friend's house. There's actually a lot of people in the summer times here in America where friends will just take turns sleeping at each other's houses like once or twice a week. And so the kids, like, they get up and they stay up late watching movies and eating popcorn and doing crazy things, playing games probably. Yeah. But if an adult talks about sleeping over, it's a little awkward because we do think of it more as an innocent, like, bonding time for children. So when an adult says sleep over, we're thinking more like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Like, are you bumming? Like,
are
not
you
have a home?
on the couch? Like, what are you doing?
Couch surfing.
The next set of phrasal verbs that we're going to talk about is organizing a more formal kind of meaning. So it's less personal, but the idea is in a lot of these that you are actually a third party. So you're organizing for two people to come together, like a family reunion. The first one is to show up. Like, someone just showed up at the party last night. I didn't know who he was. You didn't know who he was. He showed up. Unannounced. It's not a good thing.
Well, it's not a good thing at an arranged event for somebody to just randomly show up, but it's good for family and close friends to be able to just show up at your house. That's a symbol of how close you are. If they're totally fine with you seeing their messy house and their kids like screaming with a diaper on the ground or whatever, like, you're family at that point. Like, you are really close if you can step into their crazy, chaotic world and they feel no shame. That's a good thing in a lot of ways. So we call that just being able to show up. Yeah. Show up anytime. This is something we say a lot. The next one is to bring together.
So the idea is you're that third party and you're bringing together your friends that you haven't seen in a while. You're bringing together two people that are having an argument or something like that. There's some sort of togetherness, some sort of reconciliation maybe that's even happening. It can also just be for fun to say, we're just going to get together. We're going to bring people together. That's what we want to do here at this business or something like that.
We all have people in our lives like this that are just really good at bringing people together, and they're just really gifted being a host or a hostess. We all need these people in our lives for sure. Speaking of host and hostess, this is someone who likes to have people over. So to have people over means either they show up or you plan. The connotation here is that you've planned, you've invited them, and they've come over. And maybe you invited them like 5 minutes before dinner, or you invited them a week before.
Or you could describe a person as liking to have people over. So he's very personal. He's very nice. He wants people over at his house.
Right. I also might use this when I have people coming over and someone calls and says, hey, do you want to hang out tonight? I might say, I'm sorry, I already have people over. So we use that too as an excuse, but the idea is it's still a phrasal, have people over.
The next one is participate in. And again, these are getting kind of more formal as we go on. The idea with participate in is that there's some sort of gathering of people. There's some sort of maybe party, or maybe more like a conference, maybe a workshop, and you participate in that activity.
To participate in something might be more activity-like, but like I wouldn't use it to describe a work project. I wouldn't say, yeah, you know, I participated in that program. I wouldn't say that. But I would say I participated in a musical, or I participated in a club, or I participated in some kind of group activity.
Yeah.
And the connotation is definitely there is a group that you've participated with to do this. So you say with the people, but you would say in the group.
The last one in this section is to rub elbows or to rub shoulders. And the idea behind this is just meet together with somebody. But the reason why we say rub elbows is because sometimes those spaces, even if they're very big, maybe they're very crowded. And so as Americans, we really like a bubble around us. So if we're packed in there really close together, we're rubbing elbows or rubbing shoulders, it means that there's a lot of people. It's a big activity.
We have this idiom called to rub off on, which uses a phrasal, even though to rub shoulders is not a phrasal. It is an idiom, but it comes from a phrasal to rub off on. So to rub off on is basically like you're learning from somebody by spending so much close time with them.
Right.
My father might rub off on my son by the time my son wants to spend with his grandfather.
Yeah.
Right? And so he might pick up a few things from his grandpa and pick up some like facial cues or some words that grandpa uses that mom and daddy don't use. What's interesting here is like what I would say is that my dad has rubbed off on my son. So to rub elbows with people, we like to use this in a sense of rubbing elbows with people that we want to learn from, very much in that same way. We want them to rub off on us.
Yeah.
So to rub elbows with somebody is very much to say, like, I'm hanging out with people that are better than me so that I can learn from them.
This would be something you might say at like a work conference or a workshop or something like that.
Or mentor group.
Yeah, something where hopefully there's actually an exchange. I learn from you and you learn from me.
Right.
And so you rub off on each other.
Right, but it does have this connotation of there's plenty of people to rub elbows with or rub shoulders with. Okay, so when you leave, when the hangout is done, what do we do? Well, a lot of these actually have a lot of the same meaning. You might say, if I'm talking about our kids, I'll say, all right, kids, pack up or load up. Pack up and load up sometimes because they have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so packing up is the idea of getting your stuff in bags.
Get
or
all the
whatever.
bottles, the diaper changing station, all the toys, all the things. Get them up, put them into the bags, pack them up, and then load up into the car.
Yeah.
That's what we mean.
Yeah, normally, especially for us, loading up takes time. Like back in the day where we didn't have kids, it didn't take time. We just got in the car. We would say we got in the car. But with kids, we have to say load up so that they know it's time to start the loading up process.
It's a process. The next three are all synonymous. It's to head up, move out, and roll out. They all mean the same thing. Basically, you're leaving. Yeah. And roll out is talking about the tires a little bit. To move out means you're physically moving out. And to head out is like you're kind of leading the charge. You're pointing your head that way and you're going.
Yeah.
All of them come from different places, but they mean the same thing.
So the next two is to leave for or to leave by. And these are extremely important because these, as opposed to some of the others, are going to be, you're going to say something that goes along with them. So for example, if I say, hey, I'm so sorry, but we have to leave for the dentist or something like that. I say an excuse. I say a reason why I have to leave.
But to leave by means you're going to leave by a certain time. So we need to leave by 2. Basically, if you have to leave by 6, like maybe you're hanging out at your grandparents' house and you need to leave by 6, you might say, okay, kids, go ahead and give hugs, and then we're going to load up because we've got to leave by 6:15 in order to make it home by 6:45 and get ready for bed.
Right.
That's it, guys. That was a lot today. But this topic is a huge one, it's a versatile one, and you can use these immediately. That's the thing. You can use these in your immediate context. So go back through if you need to, write these down, and when and how to use them, and think about ways that you need to use them in your daily life.
Yeah, and be looking out for the follow-up video that we're going to post later this week. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe now so that you can get that notification when that next video comes out.
Yeah. So meet up with us, right?
Yeah. So meet up with us later this week so you can have that follow-up video. This is where we use these in a natural English conversation.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.